where we promulgate that your physical, psychological, and financial health are your true sources of wealth that must be safeguarded and optimized to achieve long-lasting happiness. Here we'll discuss tactics on how you may self-actualize to reach the pinnacle of authentic masculinity by embracing true libertarian principles, arming yourself with red pill knowledge, as well as implementing the most up-to-date holistic health biohacks to optimize your health. Stop being a blue pill sheep, being led to slaughter by big government and the court system. Become an awakened man. Here's your host, Gregory.
Hello everybody, this is Gregory and welcome back to another episode of The Awakened Man. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to do a short episode and talk about and challenge men not to be trolls and not to be the negative Nancys. Because it says more about you than it says about anything that you're complaining about. You know, lots of times we think that if we're criticizing something, we're taking some principled stand against the evil autocracy. And sometimes you are. But sometimes you're just a troll. And you don't want to be a troll. A nice companion episode of this one would be like the 14 signs that you're a loser. And one of the things that losers do is constantly complain. Why do they constantly complain? Why do they constantly criticize? It's because it makes them feel better. They want to get attention. They want to be seen as saying something brilliant when they're criticizing something. But all they're really telegraphing to everybody is that you're a loser, because losers are the ones who constantly criticize. Now, is there a place for criticism in society? Of course. We used to have a pretty healthy balance of that. And certainly you can see it in the Bill of Rights, where we have the right to assemble and free speech. And from criticism of laws or tenets or principles that are maybe not meritorious, came constructive, positive things. So, for example, you look at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court supported slavery in the Dred Scott case. It supported separation of the races in school in Plessy versus Ferguson. In the past, it supported things that we would see now askance. And so there was a time where brave men would criticize something that they thought as oppressive and wrong. And if your points were eloquent and cogent and positive and not attacking of the person's character, the arguments themselves would vindicate it, and thus you would see change sometimes. Sometimes you wouldn't see change. Think of the old movie Footloose, right? So Kevin Bacon's character brings up reasons and he cites the Bible, how it's okay to dance and to drink. And in that case, of course, it leads in a positive result. But there's many times where you can take a noble stand and the powers that be don't listen to you. And that's fine, because you're taking a principled, noble stand. My point is, you don't want to be that man who is a constant criticizer of other people. You see this in social media the most, right? We call these people trolls. The ones where everything they post is a criticism of whoever created that content, whether it be a tweet or a YouTube channel or, even reviews on podcasts, whatever it is, any place that there can be a public forum for you to express something. And the trolls typically don't have like a balanced criticism, a constructive critique. It's not like, hey, I would really like this content more if you did this, or on their tweet, it's like, wow, this person does have merit in what they say. Sometimes I feel that, something like that. No, troll comments are typically personal, right? They're attacking the person. And so the response is, when people read these things, it says more about you, that you are hate-filled and self-loathing. And of course, people will respond to those negative, toxic statements and say, look, if you don't like the content, or you're following someone on Twitter or wherever on YouTube, don't listen to it, don't watch it, don't read it, unsubscribe, unfollow. No one's making you do it. But the troll types, deep down, are losers. And deep down, they just want to be loved. It's like comic book guy from The Simpsons. They hide behind the anger because deep down, they're kind of an incel type. Just lonely, sad, and this is their outlet to vent. And look, there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism in its particular place if it's constructive. But when you make it personal and or it's constantly negative, again, it reflects on you. Another place you can see this happen is at work. If you're the kind of person at work, men, where everything that you say is negative, everything is negative, yet you offer no positive solutions. You're surly, you're acerbic, you're gossiping behind the boss's back, talking trash about the boss, constantly negative, because deep down, maybe you hate your job, you want to leave your job, but you have no options to leave your job. And so you're stewing in your own self-loathing, but you think that it's somehow vindicated and justified by you crapping and shitting on your company, your boss, and they're the ones who are giving you money and giving you benefits. So look, it's the same thing there. If you don't like your job, then leave it. If you don't like your job, quit and find another one if you can. But nobody likes toxic whiners. And this goes back to the episode on losers. All you'll end up doing is being alone. Your friends will alienate you because they don't want to be around toxic, whining losers who offer no positive solutions. You just ooze contempt. People want to be around joyous, happy people who can offer constructive, kind criticism. We're not telling you to be automatons. But if you're like a black cloud in the Zoloft commercial and everything is just constantly negative, again, it reflects on you. And I get it. Some of you have a tough life. Some of you have had a bad childhood. And you haven't been able to purge this self-loathing that you have that was inculcated into your psyche back when you were a child. I get that. So for you guys, you have to be even more vigilant as to how you express yourself in public. You can feel those things, and of course, I wouldn't recommend it. I'd go to therapy, talk to people, talk to a pastor, whatever, figure it out, pray more, read the good book. But you have to make a more concerted effort when in public, at work, or in relationships, or on social media. Hey, I have this tendency to be kind of troll-esque. I need to reread and reread what I'm about to post. Or how about just don't post anything? We live in such a narcissistic world where we think everybody has like an insightful take on things. You see this on Facebook, right? Instagram. I'm at the supermarket right now. Nobody cares. So how about instead of spending so much time and energy on Twitter or YouTube, where you're wasting away hours that could be done doing more constructive things with your life, how about look in the mirror and be like, why am I posting these things? Remember the old saying, if you have nothing kind to say, don't say anything at all? Think of the golden rule. Christ said, treat others as you would want them to treat you. How would you feel if you received some message from somebody that was negative and personal? You wouldn't like it. You would crawl back into your shell that you already live in, where you feel so emasculated and castrated by society. You feel like your only place where you can feel, quote, masculine, close quote, is when you're invisible and nobody knows you on social media. Come on, you're better than that. Treat people like you want to be treated. So be very cognizant in closing at work. Just do your work. You don't need to be commenting. You don't need to be slandering people. If you don't like your job, make plans to leave. In relationships, if some of you are in relationships, people don't want to be with toxic, negative whiners who complain all the time. So make a concerted effort. If you have those sentiments in your head, you don't have to express them. So if you're like, why am I all alone? Why can't I get a woman? You haven't purged your relationship thirst, but why am I alone? Why don't I have any friends? Why doesn't my family contact me? It's because you're toxic. I mean, partly because maybe you're dull, but mostly people will still be around dull people because there's not really a lot of dull people. It's mostly because they don't want to be around your negativity and they think it's infectious and they'd rather just spend their time with more positive people. So be more positive. You can always fix yourself, right? Stop having the victim mentality and go to the survivor then thriver mentality. You deserve. You're a creature of Christ. God loves you. He doesn't want you stewing in self-loathing and misery and hating on other people because you have envy. You are better than that. He knows it deep down. You need to know it. And until you figure that out, don't be a troll. Don't speak at work. Be careful what you say in your relationship. And just don't post anything on social media until you can rectify this. Guys, if you appreciate my content, please post an honest review on Apple products. It'd take you 2 seconds. There's 2 links in the episode notes. One's for PayPal. If you want to donate some money to defray the cost of hosting this on a server, because I don't make any money from this endeavor. Also, there's a link for Naturopathic Earth, my website, which might be a little glitchy, but you can go there and listen to all the podcasts, and there's tons of articles over there. I would appreciate that if you can do that. And lastly, please subscribe and post an honest review for all 3 feeds here because it helps get the message out to other people. The Female Holistic Health Apothecary, Confessions of an Obese Child, and of course this one, The Awakened Man. Until next time, take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Awakened Man podcast. Find us on Facebook at the Awakened Man podcast page. Subscribe and post an honest review on Apple Podcasts and consider donating to our crowdfunding account. And remember, freedom is better than need'em. Until next time.